It's going to be the shorter version of my presidential platform 2020. We're running a pro-human campaign. Unlike everyone else, they're all just puppets being paid to be on TV to lie and deceive to you. And they're just going to sell out the humans even more than ever before and enslave you even more than ever before. That's all they ever do. And you guys are like part of the problem if you're not part of the solution. The citizens of the empire run the empire, and that's that. You keep it alive. You're the ones who make the genocides happen of billions of people, robbery of billions, that take over hundreds of nations in the name of white supremacy and anti-humanism. So, without further ado, let's get down to it. This is anti-genocide of the human, of the good humans, anti-slavery, anti-kidnapping, it's a pro-human platform. You're going to hear about it. And when are they going to kidnap me? When are they going to kill me? When are they going to sweep this under the rug? Okay, so number one, taking down corporations robbing people. Well, we're going to take them down. We're going to take all their money, all their assets. There's plenty of laws they're all breaking. They're all selling faulty tech that they're designing to cut off here and there. Maybe as far as I know, there's really like only 100 people like keeping me trapped in a system, and everyone else is completely innocent in the world, right? And those 100 people will be dealt with even more extreme than others because the slavery they have instilled, they owe me a lot for. But for now, we're going with the idea that these people are just enslaving the whole earth. So the corporations will easily be able to seize most of them through various laws, and then they'll collapse due to non-funding of fines and repayment. They'll have to repay all their customers for any sort of scams they've tried to run and crap products they've tried to sell. Amazon and stuff is like I'm constantly getting trash from them, and I'm like reporting them that they're selling counterfeit jewelry and stuff like this, and they don't care. So I've monitored that several times. They don't care. But what Amazon's done is created these fake people or outsourced to India so they can protect themselves. But this is just the way they do. So we're not going to allow them to get away with that, or they're not going to be able to scapegoat anyone. That's how the scapegoat thing, no more. They can take their Bible scapegoating and they can shove it, because that's what's going to happen to their manipulation. I think at the end of the day, these people are going to really try to like rely on the Bible to protect them, and then the humans are like some sort of brainwashed. And they'll be like, oh, but they're so good now. They've forgiven. And, well, that just makes you a terrorist. So you forgive, you're not forgiving terrorists, you're joining the terrorist organization, which makes you the terrorist as well. So make your decision. We're on the side of the humans. We're on the side of the good humans who don't enslave, genocide, terrorize, but and rob and all that good stuff, on an extended scale. But if you want to be a terrorist, murderer, robber, enslaver, genocide, let everyone know in the comments, and don't hide behind a fake account doing it like you always do, because we need to know your face so we know who you are. That way when the time comes, we can send the proper authorities to come get you. Okay, 2, putting the criminal government behind bars. Well, they're all They're all complicit in so many massive crimes: robbery, enslavement, selling drugs, drugging the population, poisoning the water, pedophilia, 500 counts of pedophilia a day, baby mutilations, putting the mark of the devil on the baby penis. They call it circumcision, but you can call pedophilia whatever you want. Just because you're the government, it doesn't make you special. Just because you're a doctor, it doesn't make you special. Ooh, my favorite satanic cult is science, but it's also Jeebus, so I can be forgiven once you catch on to my satanic science cult. It's science Jeebus, and the Satanic Bible, all the same Rothschild race, right? Species. We're not sure who the Rothschilds are now, are we? So, doctors, lawyers, teachers, government workers, all working together to enslave and rob for trillions in damages, trillions a year in damages, but not limited to the pedophilia, the gang sign, the alien gang sign they've marked upon my body when they decided to play with my penis as a child and mutilate it so they could mark me as their slave. Putting the criminal, number 4, putting the criminal media owners all behind bars and seizing their assets. This will be easy. Again, just like all corporations, this will be easy to do. Once we get them with enough charges, they'll be bankrupt and they'll be selling everything for pennies on the dollar. And then, and then we'll just be like, well, you owe us trillions of dollars, so you're not selling your corporation. We'll just take it and cut off part of your debt, and that's that. So, and all the media is in on it, from comic books, Broadway plays to the internet, to the TV, to Hollywood. They are all involved in extreme hundreds of years of genocide, and it's right out there in the open. It's not some conspiracy theory. In fact, they're behind the conspiracy theory people. That's why they're not going to tell you all these really interesting facts. I'm going to tell you in the proper way to deal with it. They've been hiding the proper way to deal with it. The conspiracy theorists are them. It is more Hollywood media. That's why they're protecting themselves. That's why they scapegoat the Rothschild, when in fact there is so much more than the Rothschild. But the Rothschild is a good place to start, because you get killed and executed if you say anything else. So here I am to tell you that. Here I am to take their murder when they come and crucify me again, right? Genocide pedophile Weinstein, also involved in all that sexual pedophilia and all that, but yeah, the preying upon children with comic books, pedophilia. 5, repaying all people what they are owed by the criminal government. Well, the criminal government kidnaps people, and the first kidnapping, your life's valued at $2 billion. And then usually you can't get reimbursed by their assaults, their kidnappings, their robberies, etc. Because the criminal lawyers are working with them to protect them. And even your criminal family, even your family is like not your friends. Your family and your lovers will side with the government over and over. I've seen it happen. It does happen. It is what happens. I've almost never met a person who did not side with them, outside of a couple of my male friends. So you pay for everything, and what they normally do is they take a gun to your grandma's head, and they steal her tax dollars to repay you, if you can ever find one of these criminal lawyers who will turn on the judges that they work with and hang out with. And they'll steal that money from your grandma, and then they'll take the gun to grandpa's head, steal his money. They'll take the gun to your friend's grandma and grandpa's head and steal that money. And it takes a lot of these robberies to pay back one person who they have beaten into a coma and kidnapped or whatever, for life. And so they'll have to keep the robbery up, through tax or whatever, they'll come up with some sort of scheme. It's always a scheme. The empire is full of schemes. It's like nothing but schemes. And so the answer to that is forcing the government agents to pay out of their own pocket for their bribes, because they're trying to bribe you so you stay silent about being assaulted and all that. It's never you get repaid for your money. Sometimes they show this on TV, but from what I've seen, you don't get paid the money you're owed for them robbing you, kidnapping, assaulting you, sexually assaulting you, playing with your baby penis, mutilating your baby penis, whatever it is. You know, putting their gang sign on your on your penis. Sick. 500 cases that day. It's hard to say that because it's just like, and I know it must anger the people, all the citizens of the empire, because it's hitting a nerve, ain't it? It hits a nerve when I expose your pedophilia. So, you know, they steal that from other people, so they should have to pay themselves. And they shouldn't really even exist in the first place to be able to do all these kidnappings, robbery, murder, enslavement. But they do, mostly illegal, as a illegal, unconstitutional standing army. Creating illegal laws that are unconstitutional and do not exist in reality, but do exist as long as they have a gun to your head and tell you to exist. You better act right if you're scared of bullets and if you're scared of guns. At this point in time, though, I'm not scared of bullets and scared of guns, and I welcome, please shoot at me. Please come shoot at me. Please come kidnap me. I beg of thee. The gods request this. The gods want me to be tested, and so that is why I'm coming out and open now. For the final trials are upon us and upon the world, and we will see who is who in these end times. So, no more robbing grandma to pay for your crimes. If you want to pay crimes, if you want to invent laws that don't exist, put Willie Nelson, kidnap Willie Nelson, beat Willie Nelson, enslave Rob Willie Nelson, kidnap Snoop Dogg, enslave Rob, you know, beat Snoop Dogg for fake laws that don't exist. You want to, because you went to Africa and enslaved all the black people and shut down their weed so you could eventually make it illegal and make a ton more money off it, and then profit off it by involving the doctors and make $100,000 off every $5 dope sack you sell someone. Well, no more robbing grandma to pay all that back. No more robbing anyone to pay that back. You're robbing yourself from now on to pay that back. Make the government too scared to do anything. So basically we're going to have laws in place that make it so these old useless losers called politicians, these cowards and scum, pedophiles and terrorists, so they're scared to do much else. Like they should be. That's the whole point of the Constitution, is to make people realize that God's law and basic law was good, and you shouldn't do anything about it. So the Second Amendment was put in place specifically for that reason. But we're going to make America fear again. We're going to make sure that these people understand that they are servants and slaves of the people, and God has appointed them only under such conditions. And one way to do that is we're going to make it so almost nothing can get through. Once we erase their fake laws from the books, from the fake books they've made up, once we erase those fake laws, then there'll be like laws in place so the politicians basically bicker, and that's all they can do, and it will be really hard for them to pass any new laws, if not near impossible. And we'll definitely reduce the size of the laws to where the normal person can understand it, and it's not some complex magic act that a that no one can understand, not even the lawyers who are robbing you or the judges. Or so we'll definitely change it so there's no way really to do too much, and they'll just spend all their time bickering back and forth, and then we can put that on TV and we can laugh at them and laugh at them and laugh at them. Maybe we can make it so they like make the politicians useful. We can make like dunk tanks and stuff, and like there's like a yearly month-long festival where the politicians go there and they dress in clown outfits, the dunk tape, and you pay $1 to throw a ball at them or something. It sounds like fun to me. What do you guys say? Reducing all laws to something everyone understands, or else they are non-valid. I just basically said that. We're going to make it so normal people can understand things. And if normal people can't understand it, it's not a valid law. Simple as that. No more destroying the human species through manipulation of grammar, because I am the master of this grammar compared to everyone else in the government, and you will not be able to pull the wool over my eyes. And if you get caught trying to do that, there will be serious repercussions. If you get caught trying to kidnap me, blackmail me, enslave me over this, ooh. Take a look at my fight videos. God has trained me for you. Yes, He has. And don't be a retard and listen to the fake accounts who post on my page, because only the fake accounts say it looks fake. Only the fake accounts dare say something bad about those videos, because the videos aren't, I don't look at a video of Mike Tyson and think, what a bitch, he's a bitch. I look at Mike Tyson and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Uppercut. That's pretty much all you think of when you see Mike Tyson uppercut. It's like, how did you get beat by Mike Tyson? I don't understand that. It's like, just fucking protect from the uppercut, dude. Like, let him jab you. Like, oh yeah, wait a minute. It's because that jab probably rattling your brain. Okay, so make corporations reimburse people for time wasted. Your lifetime is valued at what you say, starting at well over $10,000 an hour. So when a corporation wastes your time, when a bank wastes your time, when these people steal your time, energy, how much will you pay on your deathbed for an extra hour of life? The rich elite Rothschilds and pals will pay millions of dollars for 1 hour of life. 1 hour of life is worth over $10,000 to the normal car wash McDonald's worker. But you have been tricked by demons into selling out who you are. You have been tricked by the devils. Maybe you are one of them, and you're just the one tricking other people. We'll find out soon what's going on, won't we? We're moving into that era of the world where all will be seen. And the enslavers, genociders, kidnappers, those who wish to remain enslavers, genociders, and kidnappers, and those who have been proven to be, will face God's wrath, for His time is coming. So, when a corporation wastes your time, when Microsoft forces you to upgrade, Samsung forces you to upgrade, they'll destroy your device, they'll destroy the software on it, they'll do many of these software corporations below them making software for Google, for Windows, for Microsoft, below, for the base layer OS of Android, Windows, they also are complicit in it. So you are dealing with this, just in software alone, you are dealing with half your entire life. These people are stealing from you by forcing you to upgrade here and there, by forcing you to doing this. They've been robbing you of your life, keeping you a slave. And they will reimburse you. when you call a bank or a corporation and they play a game with you and you can't get to a customer service agent like that, or at least get to being on hold for them, and they clearly designed their little telephone games to hang up on you if you try to speak with someone, even when you know you already need to speak with someone, because it's not something their stupid little system can figure it out on their own. When they start wasting your time, they start paying for it, period. They won't waste your time anymore. Once they pay for one or two persons, they'll have a programmer on that in a day. They can put a notice out like, hey, we'll be back up in 24 hours, and then everything will be smooth after that on a smooth sailing. But what about the past where they've already robbed everyone? They will be paying that as well. And then eventually, I mean, we're already talking about seizing the corporations, and this is just one of the million ways. I'm kind of repeating myself here. We're going to be taking over all these people, and it's all going to be according to the fake laws that the real terrorists who have taken over the nation have put on the books. They can easily be taken down, but most of those fake laws are going to be removed eventually as well and replaced by lesser but better laws protecting people from evil demons, enslavers, manipulators, genociders, murderers, people who murder by stealing your time energy from you. See, the murder isn't just me stabbing you in your throat and in your wrist and in your underarm and in your heart all at the same time. That is not murder. Murder is also kidnapping someone and just making them wait their time, or even maliciously having someone hold so you can't get through it, or maliciously, kidnapping someone. Right? There's so many. See, they love murder, they love death, they love enslavement, but they've also loved manipulating the idea. So I can be there, so I can be your slave. So maybe you can be their slave too. All I know is I'm their slave, and either you're their slave or you're working with them to enslave other people. Then you got to make that decision. Time's almost up, isn't it? We're in those end times, they say, where the humans must gather against the evil enslavers on the planet. And the enslavers, well, no one cares about them. No one cares about them. Who cares about them? They are going to try to kill us, though, aren't they? They're going to try to enslave us again. Even more than they already have. They're going to try to assault us more than they already have. But this time, they're still the same level of weak they've always been. And those of us who have been preparing are so much more wise and so much more physically able. It's like they're stuck in the past. And it's like we're stuck in the future. Things will change so fast. You mark my word. Day one, so many things will change. There will be fear in the hearts of enslavers and kidnappers the second, and pedophiles the second I get into office. And that's why pedophiles, murderers, enslavers work hard to enslave certain people sometimes. Maybe not all, maybe they just love to kill and enslave, but people like me, when they figure out what they're dealing with, they're like, oh God, this is horrible. They get scared, dude. I've been talking to people the last year, and the more I get closer to who they are and what they're doing to the human race, the more the people on their side cower in fear. And I don't want to see that. This is bull. cowering in fear, that's for cowards. But that's what this nation is, boiled down to. Murderers and enslavers who are nothing but cowards. And it's like, how does the world let cowards murder and enslave them? Well, they do it for a limited time. And then they stand up. So here we are. You will get reimbursed for time wasted by all corporations. If they make you, if they do this and that and force you to contact them for this and that reason, they sell you counterfeit goods, they play games with you, they will pay out of their own pockets. And if the CEO wants to say it's an employee doing it, the employee can pay out of his own pockets. You shouldn't be working if you can't do it. And you shouldn't be getting any sort of government assistance if you're a vicious predator. So, you won't be getting dealt that way either. You'll be ostracized by society. I'm sure you guys have all sorts of ways to counter all this stuff, but unfortunately, you're going to have to come up with that, right? Because you didn't think I was going to be able to come up with enough of this, did you? It's just way too complex for the average person, ain't it? The average person in America, I think, is just thinking about watching TV, eating food, killing non-whites, and which non-white they're gonna steal money from next to fund their eating in their high-end lifestyle, empire lifestyle. And do donuts in their Lamborghinis and stuff. It's expensive, man. Those Lamborghini tires is expensive. There better be some diamonds in Africa left for me to steal to pay for those donuts and that gas. Real green agenda. Real green. Companies that make trash with planned obsolescence will repay consumers, successfully shutting such corporations down. That's easy to do. Like, they've turned all these things into devices that you can't replace anything on, so they can force you into it. And then the government also works with these corporations to do that because they want to be able to implement the new spy device on you, so they can watch you when you're sleeping, and they can watch you when you're awake, and they can listen to you all the time, and they can watch you have sex because they're degenerates and they're pedophiles, and they want to watch your children when they're naked and stuff. And I mean, murderers, enslavers, and pedophiles do murder, enslaver, and pedophile things, and they pay the price for it. When you do it on a grand scale, it comes back to you. God forgives those who make mistakes. God annihilates those who enslave his creation. Real green agenda. Stop wasting energy and resources through backdoor robbery, like government enforced recycling, which costs about as much as energy as it saves, probably more, especially when it destroys the roads out here. It costs way more. I'm looking at it from one factor alone, like the picking it up and the price of gas to come pick it up. That's how much you're saying. So like they figure they can go genocide the Arabs, the Iranians, and steal their oil to pay for the trucks to drive up and down the street to recycle goods, right? Sounds like a plan, right? Yeah, it does for these people. It really does. Like, any of you guys not from America, that really sounds like a plan for these people. Okay, and once we take over all these corporations and make devices that work properly, we will use them to create open and customizable tech devices, which is part of the Real Green program, to make devices that we can continue to last, or make last, they make it so cars are obsolete and all this, and nothing is designed to last. So you just fill the landfill, and then you send it off over to them Asians you want to genocide but are scared to, because they're not as dumb as the other people you want to genocide. Or at least, that's your words. So, you fill their country with your trash. You call it green. But that's not real. Green is making all this stuff so we can work with it and make it customizable, and we can have fun with tech again like we used to. So, and this can be applied for all devices. We can make all TVs and everything else customizable, and swap out panels, whatever, and just like corporations can go to hell. I mean, their owners are going to be burning in hell, aren't they? Like, wow, they're guilty of a lot of crimes themselves. The extreme robbery. I mean, they could never pay back. These corporations could never pay back all the money they've stolen just from me. But, well, they could probably pay that back, right? But the time stolen, they can't pay that back. We're valuing time is life, and stealing life is murder. You don't think it is, because you're the thief, because you are the thief of life, because you are the murderer. So you have to create word games to create these ideas that exist only in supremacist, enslaver, genocider heads. Okay. Government workers return to servant status. While they're confused and unable to do anything because they don't need to do anything, because they don't even need to be there, because they're just enslaving, murdering, robbing, and tricking people, and genociding people, they will be reminded constantly they are there to serve. They are the servants, and they will act accordingly or be treated. Treatment. We have, the government has medication. If you can't act right, they drug you. The doctors and the government work together to drug you. Electroshock therapy. You can see this because, you don't have to be part of it, but it helps. It's definitely there. If you're in denial of that, then maybe I should consider you one of them, and you owe me for drugging me. And or we can put you in the program so you can tell us how real it is or how fake it is, right? Of course, you won't do that, will you? You won't do that because you're scared. Fear. See, fear will make you tell the truth, won't it? You, definitely. Weak people, fear will crush you. So, maybe it sounds like most people in the government do have a serious mental condition. They've got schizophrenia and psychosis. So we have the government places they can just be sent to. Southeast, where they keep all the blacks and they drug them heavily. So they get sterilized and stumble out in the street and get hit by a car because they don't know what's going on. Over there at Southeast there, that place I posted pictures of, which the Google shows in the middle of the white downtown, there's black people hanging out there. Yeah, that's a government drugging center. And it's for people who have mental issues. And the politicians, all government workers have extreme mental issues. All government workers. The doctors do. They're pedophiles. 500 baby penises a day they need to mark with the mark of the demon. the demon cult. It's not just about marking up the demon cult. It's about they have no problem playing with baby penises in doing that. So stopping government-sanctioned genocide, like their media's 24/7 hatred of whites and Arabs, genocide them, and worship of the unnameable. So you got to genocide the. It's not so much as whites in America are being targeted right now because of Trump, but whites in America, everyone in America is still targeting the Germans. They still want to genocide the Germans and rob it, even though they're paying lip service to it. They're out the other side of their mouth. They're still talking about how great it was when they killed the Germans and took over their nation, and then they're trying to use these white mind games to, oh no, but. I can't believe Merkel's doing that. She's so evil. Why are the Germans doing that? It's like, well, the Germans are doing that because you genocided them and you enslaved them and you took over their nation and you control their nation, and Merkel isn't doing anything. Merkel's doing what you tell her to do, or else you'll kill her like you did Gaddafi, like you did Saddam, like you're trying Kim Jong-il, like you do everyone else, like you do your own citizens. That's why Germany's out of control, because America is the terrorist who genocided them. Stop censorship. Ostracize and report on all media censoring stuff. Force label media, newspaper, plays, comic books, internet, sold as news. But it's fake gossip and fiction. So, the internet, the truth movement, the libertarians, the alt-right, the GDL. There's not much solid evidence on the GDL, I guess. I already report on their shady tactics of demonizing other people. These people are demons. And many of the people are demons too. So it's not just the media who are the demons. The people report me when I speak the truth. They want to continue to enslave me and genocide my people and rob me, as they always have. They want to have me be their little pet. They don't want to necessarily kill me off, because they've already tried to kill most of my people. So they want to keep me around as a little pet monkey, kind of like they do with the blacks. Like, they're like, oh my God, the blacks population is so out of control. They're like up to 10% now. They were like 2%, but now they're 8%. And like, so they gotta send the government to shoot them and sterilize them and send them to drug places so they get comatose with drugs. But they got to keep a few token ones to dance around on stage like circus monkeys, right? So you got, and even then, most of the circus monkey status ones are like Drake. Like, Drake's one of them. He's not black. He's mixed with the Rothschilds, the Rothschild, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. So, the censorship, they use it to prevent their genocides and to promote their genocides and enslave people. Make them stupid, rob my family, kill old people. Like, think of all the old people I'm trying to save. Stop pedophile government. No baby penis chopping. No government oligarchs hanging with pedophiles. No media preying upon kids' minds like they do with the genocidal comic books. So, USA has this extreme obsession with children in the drugging. Like, the doctors in the government, and the school teachers, they love to drug children. They've been drugging me from birth. I can't even remember a time when I wasn't drugged. And so it started way before I had the option of choosing to be drugged. See, the parents are also being pedophiles in this nation. The parents are drugging their children. And the government is like, of course, encouraging this and supporting it, as opposed to any sort of child predator system or CPS, who is supposedly there to help kids, but it's just another arm of the pedophile government. You know, it's just the same thing over and over, but it's vicious. Their love of pedophilia in America is child predation in America is sick. Like, they use the media and the schools to teach children to kill people and genocide people and to hate one another. And it's time they stop. It's time all these people get held accountable. Teachers held accountable for teaching their kids to genocide Arabs or any non-white nation who has some money for them. Teachers quit teaching their children to be pro-war so the teacher can live in a fancy, rich, gated community, the high, because they're not backward savages like these other people who they just genocided and stole all their money from. So people, 500 baby penis mutilations a day. For the love of baby penis mutilation, there's no science cult behind it. Science cult, atheist cult is ran by the same people who have always branded the baby penis as their slave population. You look at the Bible, you look at Christopher Hitchens, you look at atheist cult, science cult. It's the same people. Carl Sagan. It's all the same people. You guys can never. It's almost like you can't even think a single thought without these people. And maybe you should be thankful I'm here, because maybe I'm one of them. But I'm just not allowed. I don't think so, because they've been kidnapping me for a while, right? So, no more playing with baby penis, America. Your obsession with baby penis is going to be over, and God's going to see to that. God doesn't like pedophiles. God likes pedophiles. And only in America, because America's God is Anton LaVey's God, is Carl Sagan's God, is Hitchenson's God, is the other God. Like, I'm pretty sure, even though the Christian Bible says that you don't have to do circumcision, I'm pretty sure it's the same people, and I'm pretty sure that's all America is. Every hospital is the atheist cult, the science cult, but they all have the Christian name to protect themselves and to make you feel welcome. And it's good pedophilia. It's good robbery. It's good drugging. It's good. It's good. Your brain, it's tiny. It'll believe whatever we tell you. It's good. Don't forget. Kill some brown people today for America. Okay. Real medical. Doctors and government agents go to prison minimum 10 years if they try to force medicine, shots, vaccinations on you and your kids. In fact, we need to prevent doctors from trying to upsell anything. We remove all limits on medications. You can buy whenever you want, whatever you want, without the government and doctors running a terrorist protection fund scheme to sell you overpriced drugs at a 10,000% markup price and force you to hang out with them 24/7, thus successfully stealing your life from you, aka murdering your life. Murdering you, stealing your life. See, isn't it funny how they've turned stealing small parts of your life into nothing? They can steal small parts your whole life. They can steal it. steal. So, like every 10 seconds, like a new person can call and steal my life, but that's not murder. Me living it, that's not slavery. Me being someone else's slave, them stealing my life, and me having to live a life for them, and my life being stolen from me. It's, I'm just an idiot. My low IQ can't figure it out. Obviously, their superior IQ that caused them to fail all the tests in school they took and fail, barely get by in anything they've ever done. Clearly, that superiority makes it so they understand the complexities of the world, but I am just a moron. I mean, think of it. Those writing awards I won from the president, it was like from George Bush. He's an idiot, right? Except for he's the leader of the idiots, right? Plus, I think it was from the smart George, George Bush, who like you can't prove was smart and was just vicious, right? So at least he liked my stories, right? Protection for elderly people, 17. They invented the nation. You leech off their creation. They come first. Government stopped stealing elderly people's houses, and the doctors stopped robbing elderly people instantly. Instantly. That there's no more to that. Well, there is, but at all costs, you don't deserve to be in this nation if you can't treat the people who built this nation with respect. So no more lip service of respect to vets. Vets will be treated as you cowards tell them you're going to treat them. You say you're going to praise them and put them on a pedestal. And then when they come back from the war, you treat them like they are yesterday's garbage. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of sending people off to war, but I'm a big fan of you keeping your word. Stop running your mouth if you can't live up to it. 19. Schools will be reduced and ended sooner. Turn to apprenticeships. Any sort of bullying by teachers will be the teachers paying out of their own pockets for their robbery and enslavement of the child. All government and religion will be ended in school. College debt will be forgiven once we stop colleges from robbing and brainwashing people. That way, we're not encouraging people to go to them until we have justified the output the college offers. So you're taken care of. You're going to be able to have complete access to knowledge anytime you want. Real knowledge too. And if any of you see any sort of editing, just let us know. We're going to develop special. I'm moving ahead of myself. Way here I have it, but we're going to develop special plans to help the people. If you have a problem, you're going to be able to call the government and report something, and you're not going to live in fear of it. You're not going to live in fear of retaliation from the government. But don't be stupid. Don't be frivolous. But if you definitely see these pedophile laws or whatever violated by corporations, corporate laws violated, you're going to have a one-way ticket to us, and it's not going to be some idiot you don't trust. It's going to be real investigators who do real things. Real science, not government propaganda. We're going to do real studies. We're not going to have the TV telling us this and that moisturizing cream is better than this and that and that and that and this. We're not gonna have any of this. We're gonna have real tests. There's like laws where we can't test on people in America or something. Well, the people in America are already testing on themselves. We're just gonna hire the people who want to do that already. And congratulations, weed head. We want to learn about weed. You want to smoke weed? Come join our test group. It's that simple. That's already how they do it, but it's extremely wish-washy. The whole medical science community, extremely wish-washy. I go in there about my disability, and they ask me like does it feel like this, that, or this? And it's like, it doesn't feel like any of that. It feels like slicing. They're like, does it feel like chopping or pressure or nerves? And it's like, no, it feels like slicing. Like slicing is a different feeling than chopping. Like they don't understand what's going on. Thousands to millions of years after the earth was invented, it's not real science. Real science. And we're going to have it real. We're not going to have these tunes on TV telling us how it is. We're going to have real debates, real experiments. You're going to know if NASA's real or not. You're going to know if flat Earth is real or not. You know why? Because we're going to invite the world to see. And if NASA's a government propaganda for anti-Russian, your little scheme's exposed. Better come kill me now, bro. Freedom for all. Proper drug education with it. Real drug education. These doctors don't know anything what they're doing. They have no right to be involved in marijuana or opium. It's just part of the government selling scheme. I'm surprised they don't sell alcohol. They used to tell you to buy cigarettes. Proper education. Really, we're so far beyond proper education. Alcohol's been legal for eternity. They only made it illegal for a couple of weeks. That doesn't work very well when you outlaw a drug that makes people violent, does it? Kind of fucking doesn't work, does it? So, but from what I've gathered, people seem to think different alcohols have different effects. So we'll find out about that, because it's true with seemingly everything else. And they tell you it's true with the marijuana thing, and that's another thing how they try to divide it and try to destroy you with it. and having the government involved in anything, the medical industry involved in marijuana, it's just another white supremacist tool. Black people don't have access to health care. Black people don't fucking waste their lives worrying about getting health care. I gotta be a slave. Blacks were slaves enough. They ain't fucking worried about that. They get, in Africa, they ain't sitting around thinking, in Nigeria, they ain't sitting around thinking, or Jamaica, they ain't sitting around thinking about, I better get my health care so I can smoke some ganja. Sorry, that is a trick. That's a trick. So these rich white doctors, rich white lawyers, rich white politicians, and their little buddies I can't name in this video because this video is trying to get out there. That's a trick they've invented to re-enslave the original slave race. See, they're trying to use these mind games on people they consider inferior. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to expose their games to you. And you better fucking listen up. Yeah, I don't know who I'm talking to aggressively. Y'all do listen up. Other people listen up when they hear the truth. It's these fake accounts on the internet here that have some issues. I only imagine who that is. The government will be paying all those who were robbed by them. We will make punishment for laws destroying illegal, unconstitutional laws by terrorists retroactive. All weed and drug offenders will be released immediately. The government will be removed instantly from the death grip on this to rob and kill people. God's creation is for you, not for terrorists to rob you with. The people the government forced to use the fentanyl. See, you hear about these opiate addictions killing people. Well, mostly that's because the government has forced people into using this drug, which is probably the government selling it, that is super strong and super potent in a tiny bit. And see, in Europe, it's always been legal, and they can just sell you a normal pill. And you take a couple, and it's pain relief. It's sold at the corner store. and they aren't dying. But in America, it's a problem because they're trying to call you off. This whole drug system, they're drugging the water, they're drugging the vaccinations. It's extreme, dude. People claiming they're drugging the air. I have no doubt. If they're drugging the water, if they're chopping your baby penis at birth, every male in America has been branded with this pedophilic gang sign to let you know you're a slave to the master race. Boy, I do not doubt anymore that there is chemicals being introduced to the air supply to kill people. So, the fentanyl, they bragged in the past that they used alcohol to kill people and poison it. The that's the opiate stuff that's killing everyone. They're not telling you this. See, they're creating this whole lying scheme because they want to keep the price of opiates high, and they want to make it so the only opiates they can sell are the ones that they have stolen from the Arabs. And what they're really doing with the Arabs is they're stealing their opium, and it's just a small part. They're not there just to steal opium, but they are there to destroy the opium. See, that's how you know they're lying to you about this as well. I mean, plus, all history shows you take resources from war. Resources do not fund a war. Resources do not cause a war, but they fund the war. They mildly fund the war. So they go there. They stole the opiates for a while, and they forced it so they couldn't have their opiates to sell to make their product. Because it's kind of like okay for their people to use it. Whether it is legally or not, it is like, acceptable. I hear on the street and all that. So they go there and they just like they did in Africa. They go there to stop the resources from being used by the people who they belong to because the empire needs them. And so one thing they did is once you guys started running your mouths about they're there to steal opium, they started burning down the opium fields. You can read that. But the liberals are lying to you. The liberal leaders are still lying to you. They're not telling you the truth. The truth movement is still lying to you. They're not being honest. Libertarians are still lying to you. It's all the same people who run this. It's all the same people. It's all the same people. If I got to keep saying that, there's nothing else that matters till you figure that out. So they went there and they burnt down the fields, and then they moved them to the UK. And so they say fent comes from China. So that's another person they've been involved with in drug wars. They used to have to buy tea off China, and then they found a way to steal that from them and make it, which I'm not saying necessarily, that's a bad thing. But okay, so all those deaths you're hearing about opiates, you're being brainwashed. It's the fentanyl mostly. And the reason it's killing people is because you can't properly dose it, because the government's forced it to the street. But at the same time, the government's probably actually putting it on the street, because they're always doing that now, aren't they? That's their money. They have to create that money. The empire has failed. It just tried. It's straggling, and it's going to get worse. That's why it's going to be really bad. I mean, you guys think you're going to let me fix it? Do you guys even want to? I don't think Americans want to fix it. I think they're brainwashed into thinking the empire lasts forever. I think they're really so dumb. They've never read anything in history. I don't think they understand there used to be other empires. I don't think they understand they overthrew one of those empires even. Then they became it. Or maybe they always were it. Okay, so the fentanyl, though, that's the government. The government's killing all those people, and they will be charged with those. That the FBI, the DEA, they're going to be charged with all those crimes. And those families, who have suffered losses, they will be repaid by the government, not not taxpayers who they're going to try to rob the money from. They will be funded by the people who created the problem. Their family, and if that takes every second of their life, then good, that's God's plan. Government employees have a problem with the Constitution, human freedom, human rights, God's creation will be accurately labeled as terrorist and designated and watched and as so. Government abuse, police brutality, kidnapping will be dealt, etc., will be dealt with swiftly. Obama didn't do that, did he? No, not at all. Barack. Let's always refer to him by Barack. That way we know who he really is. Barack is the person they didn't tell us he is. Barack is the people who he really is, though. Criminal politicians working with corporations, filling cabinets with lobbyists will be dealt with properly. Media. Things like FCC radio, force regulations to censor people will be removed, and laws will be set in place to punish anyone who suggests otherwise. Simply suggesting anti-human rights ideas that have no basis in reality as possible laws or actions or pathways will be punishable and grounds for removal from government. Pedophilia, parental abuse like assaults on children, like having 6-year-olds get sex change operations or chopping babies